Hello friends, America has imposed a new tariff policy. This tariff policy has significantly increased the tariff rates on all those imported goods which would enter the American territories. This tariff rate has been currently set to about 10%, which would likely increase if America feels that this trade or this exported good is a result of trade surpluses from the exporting country. And India falls within this brackets, wherein India is exporting those goods which are from their trade surpluses. And USA has currently fixed or imposed a tariff rate of about 27% on the Indian imported goods. Now, what is tariff? A tariff is a tax imposed on the imported goods of the country. The government uses this tariff as a revenue on one side. On the other hand, it also uses this tariff as a regulatory measure to promote the domestic products, which may be increased or decreased as per the preference of the government to promote the domestic product or to let in the imported goods to the consumer's preferences as per the choice at the cheaper rates. On the other hand, the US claims that the tariff is imposed based on the principle of reciprocity. Now, what is this principle of reciprocity? This principle of reciprocity basically means that you tax me and I tax you. For example, a country A is imposing a severe tariff on country B's imported product. Similarly, the country B would impose a severe tariff on country A's imported products. So this is how this principle works, and this is legal according to the World Trade Organization's framework or the legal framework. On the other side, like many countries internationally do not agree with the statement made by the America, and they state that the policy itself, the tariff policy itself, is formulated irrationally without a proper basis. And the US has declared the national emergency on April 2025, stating that there exists a harmful foreign trade deficit and harmful trade practices which are emerging or which are existing in America, and to prevent from the economic harm to the nation, the emergency was declared by the President Donald Trump on America. And with regard to the same, this emergency is being criticized globally because it is stated that there existed no such unusual or extraordinary existence of threat to the economy of the country, on basis of which American president has declared this emergency. That is totally a different aspect on other side, because the legislature's tacit approval was not there with regard to this formulation of policy of increased tariff. And recently as well, many international trade experts have also expressed their tacit disapproval with regard to this formulated policy, as they say that it is in clear violation of WTO's international trade law principles. Now, what is WTO? WTO is World Trade Organization, which serves as an international forum for negotiation or to bring in a multilateral agreement. And what is the purpose of this negotiation or the multilateral agreement? The purpose is to bring in free trade or free international trade among its member states. That is, by removing the trade barriers or by removing the higher tariff which each country would impose on its member states. According to me, the American tariff policy is in clear violation of WTO principle. Firstly, the most favored nation principle is violated. Now, what is most favored principle nation? This principle is based on the policy of equality. That is, if a country lowers the trade barriers or removes the tariff or lowers the tariff, then the similar treatment should be given to all the member states of WTO. And America and India, being the primary members of World Trade Organization, they are also bound to the same. Now, America has on one side increased the tariff rates to 145% to China, and for India it's charging about 27% tariff, and on the other side America is going to charge only 10% tariff for those countries which are specifically developing countries. So there is an impartial treatment with regard to the same, and there is no unified or uniform tariff which is being imposed by the country, that is America. So it is in clear violation of WTO principle of MFN, and additionally the principle of bound rate. The bound rate is the maximum level according to the WTO principles to which a state can impose a tariff. And if this bound rate is exceeded, it is violation of WTO principle. And we have apparently seen that America can exercise its discretionary power to increase or decrease the tariff according to its new tariff policy, wherein on one side it can increase the tariff up to 145% staggering rate if it feels that such tariff is to be imposed on that country's imported goods. And these tariffs are significantly going to reduce the international trade. And on the other hand, my concerns with regard to the same is the impact on the Indian economy. India has an average bound rate of about 48.5% currently, whereas America had a bound rate of about 3.6%, which was recently increased to about 10% baseline and is ranging till 145%. There is a difference and there is inequality with regard to the same, or the preference which the country is giving for the acceptance of imported goods. And these tariff rates which have been arised or which has arose should be negotiated at the international forum. And my opinion with regard to the same is India must as soon as possible send their ministerial representative to America to negotiate down the current imposed tariff rate of about 27% on Indian imported goods. Or India must team up with other WTO members and bring in a multilateral agreement to reduce the significantly increased tariff rates. Or India must personally negotiate and bring down a bilateral agreement which significantly reduces the tariff rates. My opinion and concern with regard to the same is about 56.5% of total exported products of India are going to America, which includes products like pearls, precious stones, metal coins and electronic equipments, etc. And this brings in on about $5.76 billion loss to India, which is equivalent to 50,000 crore Indian rupees. And India has many US based customer MNC companies working, which includes companies like Infosys and TCS, which have their direct customers on America, that is American based customers. And this increased tariff is gonna impact their production and becomes a problem to the American based customers when these Indian products reach the American territories. If India fails to negotiate or bring in a multilateral or bilateral agreement, then India must opt to shift the customer base from America to other European countries or other countries who are the members of WTO and establish a new international trade with the least trade barriers or least tariff which has been imposed, so that the Indian economy is not affected. India must liberate and bring in policies like providing subsidies to those companies and providing compensation to those traders who trade to America, but they are not impacted severely. And on the other hand, India must promote the Make in India policy and bring in the government entities to the production sector so that new industries are established and new employment is generated. On the other hand, the productivity increases and new connections with countries other than America, like the European Union countries or the East Asian countries or the North Asian countries or the Gulf nations are involved, and there is maximization of production, maximization of employment, maximization of government profits and revenue. A recent deliberation with Indian representative in America has revealed that there would be likely a no tariff policy between both countries, but the results are unlikely, unpredictable yet. So however, we should be firm enough to bring in the productive sector engaged in the new production and establish new connections with countries other than America, as there exists unpredictability with regard to the same, and this is the time we realize to bring in new productivity and wake up with the dawn of Make in India and bring in initiatives to increase employment and prosper our country. Thank you.